students, hope you're all fine and fit. We have completed our chapters in English literature, so we had begun our revisions in the last class. So as a continuation of the revisions, let's revise chapter 2 today, that is Conceited Python. Let's understand the characters in this lesson. First character is the author, who is also the narrator of the story, who explains the stories to us. And the second character is Grandpa. Grandpa is a person who has an unusual love for or a special love for unusual pets. He likes to keep pets, not ordinary pets. He loves to have unusual pets that people usually don't keep as pets. Okay. And his grandmother, who is afraid of snakes, who is really scared of snakes. And there is an Aunt Mabel, who is also very scared of snakes. And the fifth character, the Python, who is center of the attraction in the world, who is around whom the whole story is about. Okay, let's. We know that the story of the Conceited Python. Grandpa one day brings home a snake or a python, and as he brings home the monkey, the pet monkey sees it and he runs away, as pythons are always the enemies of, or they always remain the enemies of monkeys. So he runs away in fear. And when grandmother sees grandpa coming home with a snake around his neck, which he got from the market, from a snake charmer for very little money. So he brings it home and he wants to keep it as his unusual pet. So he brings it home, but what happens is that his wife, who is the grandma of the author, tells him not to keep the python at home, but to return it to the person whom he bought the python from. So grandpa goes back to the market to search for the person, and meanwhile he leaves the python in the toilet. He closes the door of the toilet and he goes in search of the person who sold him the python. But when he goes to the market, he doesn't find the person. He comes back home saying that he didn't find the person, and they go in search of the python into the toilet, and they find the python is missing. They found the window was open, and they understood that the python escaped through the window. And they go around searching the whole house and the garden. They couldn't find the python. They thought the python must have gone into the jungles. But after a few days later, their aunt, the author's aunt, was supposed to come home, whose name is Mabel. She was supposed to come home and she is very scared of snakes. So grandmother says that nobody should know, she shouldn't have the knowledge of the snake. She should not be told that there was a snake in the house. She will rather be scared and will not want to stay with us. So they keep it a secret, but what happens is that once when Aunt Maple was in the garden, after coming once she was in the garden, and she finds a snake on the guava tree, and she was scared to death. And she comes home running with all the cries, and comes to tell everyone that I saw a snake. It was deadly, and I was so terrified with the sight of it. It had a deadly look in it. It was staring into my eyes. And then they understood that this particular snake appeared, but they still kept that as a secret, that this was a snake that was brought home by grandpa. So, and then afterwards, the automobile sees the pond for the python for the second time, and then what she does was he immediately packs the things and goes home. She doesn't stay there because she saw the snake for the second time, which was unimaginable for her. So she runs back home. And then the snake began to give appearances here and there. The servant of the house sees it, the author sees it, and many others in the house, they see the snake here and there. And then one day, they many times they saw the snake in front of the mirror. So as they were about to catch it, they escaped. The snake escaped. So they found the python in front of the mirror, enjoying its beauty, enjoying itself in the mirror. So what they did was they made a cage and kept a mirror inside the cage. And as a result, the snake came into the cage and it was enjoying its own beauty in the mirror. So the author saw the snake in the mirror, in the cage, enjoying itself in the mirror. So the author closed the door of it and they went into the jungle to leave it in the jungle. They carried it to the jungle and they opened the door of the cage, but the snake was not ready to go out. The snake was still enjoying itself in the mirror. It was so immense in enjoying itself in the mirror, it did not even know that the cage was closed or the cage was open when in the jungle. So the story ends there, and the grandpa says, I have never seen such a snake that I have never seen a snake falling in love with its own self. With these lines, the story ends. So that is a story of Conceited Python. This story is about a python who falls in love with its own self in the mirror. So I hope the summary is clear to you. So read through the lesson essay and learn the question answers. And if there is any clarification, you can ask. If you have any doubt in the question answers or in the textbook, in the text, you can ask. Thank you.